and welcome to the first episode of Season 11 of the Business Roundup. I'm your host, Dennis Igoa. It's a milestone for the team and we commit to keep you informed and abreast with the trending local, regional and global business news. Check out the highlights for tonight's show. President Yoweri Museveni woos United Arab Emirates investors. A new report shows significant business opportunities in the refugee settlements, and on the global scene, Israel-Gaza war impacts negatively on the global crude oil prices. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Keep it locked, it's showtime. To our first story, investors from the United Arab Emirates are urged to invest their money in Uganda because of the country's conducive investment environment and high returns on investment. This was at the second annual Uganda-UAE Business Forum in Kampala. The four-day Uganda and United Arab Emirates Business Forum is intended to boost efforts that build on the excellent relations that currently exist between the two countries and attract tourists and investments to Uganda.
I welcome this initiative and all the efforts aimed at strengthening the marketing of Ugandan products as well as measures aimed at increasing Uganda's export competitiveness.
The business convention further exhibits and highlights Uganda's finest offerings. Several investment priority areas are enumerated.
Number 1, commercial agriculture and agro-processing, stock industry. Number 2, tourism. Number 3, energy and minerals. Number 4, oil and gas. Number 5, manufacturing.
I hope that this week offers you an in-depth insight into Uganda's environmental, touristic, cultural, economic and social landscapes, and be familiarized with its destination as a choice for not only leisure but also doing business.
Uganda's exports to the United Arab Emirates have grown exponentially over the years, with recent statistics showing products worth US $1.4 billion exported in 2022.
So what it means for us is UAE is speaking with their money. They are not just talking but walking the talk and investing in Uganda. We are getting quite a lot of interest from the UAE to invest in our sectors here, in agro-processing, in mining, in oil and gas.
A lot of companies have managed to come here. Many people here are getting employed. So I feel like this relationship between Uganda and UAE in terms of business is growing quite a lot. And then not only that, I'm a Ugandan who is having a company in the UAE. It is challenging to have a company in the UAE, quite challenging, I must say. But when you hit it right, it is, for me, I always tell people, it is consistency, it is hard work. It is work.
Value addition on agricultural products is emphasized in a bid to increase the country's foreign exchange earnings.
I've also been informed that the major challenges faced by Uganda include quality, quantity, and the required standards. These identified gaps in export competitiveness need to be addressed with a special focus on the whole value chain.
The Uganda-UAE Business Forum is on the theme, Uganda, the gateway for business in the East African region.
Not only are we the best investment destination in East Africa, but we have been ranked by the Oxford as the best destination for you to get reward on investment.
Dennis Igoa and Charlotte Amuge for UBC Business. Relatedly, President Yoweri Museveni says government will continue investing massively on public goods with a goal of lowering the cost of doing business. He made the remarks at the Uganda-UAE Business Forum.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has officially opened the second annual Uganda United Arab Emirates Business Forum at the Speak Resort Hotel, Munyonyo. At the event, President Museveni wooed potential investors, assuring them of a strong, resilient, broad, lucrative investment destination.
The minerals which Modern was talking about, like the iron ore, the gold and all that, the fertilizers, phosphates. We have got a huge deposit of phosphates. The aluminium, the high value minerals like lithium. We are going to produce our solar batteries, our lithium batteries for our electric cars, which we are already making here.
President Museveni guaranteed the UAE delegation and those in attendance that government is concentrating its resources and efforts on public goods in order to ease the cost of doing business.
We are now just beginning. For instance, electricity, the cost of electricity per unit is still a bit high. We want to bring it to 5 cents per unit. We are going to work on the railway so that the transport costs are lower, instead of, because we are now mainly using road from here to the ocean. And on the side of Kenya, the ocean is 800 miles away from here, on the side of Kenya. On the side of Tanzania, the ocean is 1,000 miles away from here. And we are now saying that this long distance is better, it is covered by rail rather than by road transport.
Uganda and the UAE have strong bilateral ties. With the continuous engagement in the commercial and economic business front, the opportunities for growth and development are immense.
We believe, first of all sectors are important. There's no sectors less important than the others. However, we believe that there are sectors in Abu Dhabi, if we concentrate on the impact of the GDP will be higher. Again, we have a vision, we called it Falcon economy. We want by 2040 our GDP to reach $1 trillion, that's in Abu Dhabi.
His Excellency Rashid told me and the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda that he is very willing to bring for us companies to come and do value addition on our gold. Your Excellency, UAE alone has 14 gold refineries.
According to President Museveni, Africa is on the right socio-economic growth trajectory now that the continent is working towards addressing the traders through the African Continental Free Trade Area. He argues that a fragmented African continent was a major impediment to trade development aspirations. Wadulo Makanold, Juman Samba, UBC News in Munyonyo.
A new report by the Private Sector Foundation Uganda in partnership with MasterCard Foundation shows significant business opportunities in the refugee settlements across the country. It is estimated that $450 million is spent annually in the refugee settlements and host communities. Let's have a look. Uganda currently hosts the world's fourth largest refugee population with at least 1.5 million people as of September 2021 and the largest refugee population in Africa.
The policy is also changing from simply aiding, donating food, so they can engage in production, produce their own food. They actually buy our products. You see how it makes business sense.
A new study by the Private Sector Foundation Uganda in collaboration with MasterCard Foundation has identified opportunities for the refugees and host community. The study, conducted in 3 refugee settlements of Bidibidi, Nachivale and some parts of Kampala, identified opportunities for youth employment in renewable energy, local tourism and hospitality, construction, trade and services. These opportunities also include education and skills training.
The local content or the participation of local businesses in this space is still quite limited. And so we sought to really understand what lies underneath the surface. Of course, a lot of businesses have already broached the space and they're already working with refugees in business or in employment. And so in this study, we sought to really establish what does that really look like? What are the opportunities? Which sectors? And so on. And so we were happy to launch this study, but also to realize some of our partners are already in this space, and so we have the courage to launch or push forward the ecosystem that we are trying to build for an enabling environment within the refugee space.
So as a business, although we're looking at this from a long term, we're already in a situation that for 4 years we will make a loss in this community. Now we need to take also the credit risk of providing the product on credit, and we don't know if we're going to get the money back.
The 1.5 million persons of concern consume goods and services worth $485 million per annum, says Stephen Asimwe, the Chief Executive Officer, Private Sector Foundation Uganda.
Having given you the background, the PSFU first commissioned a study and found that there is a very big opportunity. But secondly, how do we facilitate as part of our business development services mandate? We have set up a desk officially to support the refugees, but also to support Ugandan businesses to take advantage of that opportunity. That desk is going to be domiciled at PSFU, and it is essentially established to facilitate, to inform, and also to empower business people to take advantage of this opportunity.
The study intends to open the way for government and other players to identify the available opportunities in the refugee space and take a more participation, active role. Dennis Igoa for the Business Roundup. Uganda Airlines launches direct flights to Mumbai, India.
Uganda Airlines has registered yet another success as it commences its direct flight operations from Entebbe International Airport to Mumbai in India 3 times a week. The board chairperson Uganda Airlines Priscilla Mirembe says celebrating this will open up business opportunities between the two countries.
This new route marks a significant milestone for Uganda Airlines as we expand our horizons and strive to enhance global connectivity. I am delighted to announce that for this route, we'll be utilizing the top-of-the-range Airbus 330neo aircraft.
The Uganda-Mumbai route is to foster strong point between nations and create a platform for increased trade, tourism, and cultural exchange.
When you want to check whether it is viable, you must check it along the parameters of an infrastructure. And is the airline making money for this country? It's already making money.
According to the Indian High Commission to Uganda, this will not only reduce on time but also cost effective.
I am sure it will enhance not only the people-to-people movement between the two countries, but also trade in areas like fresh foods, lemon, avocados, pineapple. There are many things, some of which are already exported from Uganda to India.
The Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, while flagging off, first stressed the need for more aircrafts to increase services to the people.
The government and the people who are concerned have heard that we now need more aircrafts, and we have a reason to defend why we need more aircrafts, because it was very difficult to defend that when these ones were parking here most of the time. But now that we are having many more routes and the demand is high, then we have reason to demand for more aircrafts. So we are looking forward to having maybe some new versions of aircrafts in our fleet to increase on the service to our people.
Parliament has faulted government for not prioritizing the fiscal planning aspect in Uganda. Despite the Physical Planning Amendment Act 2020, government is far from implementing the National Fiscal Development Plan after failing to secure the required resources.
Government of Uganda is committed to ensuring orderly and sustainable organized urban and rural development as part of its national agenda.
This assurance, as emphasized by the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakooba, comes at a time when the rains have of recent exposed the gaps in the planning of the capital city of Uganda.
What I want to tell this House is that the plans that cities could be having, these plans expire. They make plans that can cover between 10 to 15 or 25 years, depending on how they sit to agree amongst a local government unit.
The country has further extended more 10 secondary cities, 31 municipalities and 585 town councils. However, government has noticed an aggravated low level of compliance to plans, which has negatively impacted the growth of the economy.
I know the House is agitated, but you know, it is not only Forest Mall which is suffering this mayhem. Number two, the owner of that place does not approve the plans. He didn't authorize himself to construct there. There were people.
Kampala capital city has for the last decades experienced mushrooming buildings both in the CBD and its outskirts, with many having no plan, including for drainage and roads.
Originally, when we were starting to construct Forest Mall, that channel was approved all along. But when I consulted, they said that those are so many years back, you have again to resubmit a new plan.
Parliament this week pursued to establish where the blame originates for the poor planning of both urban and rural areas, especially the cities.
We know, we are aware there are some people who do illegal things, but that is not our position as KCCA. We are going to demolish buildings which were built illegally in places, in waterways.
The basic plan we should start with is traceability of individuals that are going to use the land, whether in urban or rural areas, like the Honorable Nyachikongoro was alluding to, so that we can talk about exhaustively land use in a country, whether it's for rural purposes, whether it's for commercial, whether it is industrial.
The Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakooba, presented a number of recommendations needed to implement the National Physical Development Plan.
In the ministry, when we realized that there was a gap, because we have the law and we have some policies and regulations, but on identifying the gaps, we recommended that Cabinet should allow us to create an enforcement unit, enforcement and compliance. Because we would do laws, we do regulations, we do guidelines like the ones we have on fuel stations, but you realize that still the local governments that are supposed to oversee the implementation are doing things to the contrary.
Parliament has asked government to consider prioritizing physical planning to avoid future calamities.
Because in cabinet, when a budget is tabled, what do you discuss? Isn't physical planning a priority? Then we want, when we are coming here, you say, I tabled it, my colleagues in cabinet, they didn't look at it as a priority, but it's a priority.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
And on the matters of tax, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has tasked the taxman to secure a 20% tax to GDP ratio by 2025. This was at the launch of URA's 3-year digital and IT strategy.
Uganda Revenue Authority commits to delivering near-instant tax services, inclusive solutions for all tax segments and solid technologies within reach to taxpayers by unveiling and leveraging on its new digitization and ICT strategy that runs from the current financial year to the 2026-2027 financial year.
I am charging you with your staff, with our support too, that I want a tax GDP ratio of 20 within another 2-3 years. I am tired of borrowing. Especially to go on the borrow the other side, you know, they kick you around like a small boy. That humiliation Commissioner General and your staff, please save me that humiliation.
The strategy sets to enhance the taxpayer's experience, which is critical to liberating Uganda from economic dependency.
Digitizing and automating all our processes to make them efficient and transparent. We have been on that journey, and today is the milestone that we are celebrating. But we also pledged ourselves to serve our country with integrity and professionalism.
In attendance to witness the milestone event were legislators, business and association leaders, professional bodies, and other major stakeholders.
And numerous studies have shown that African countries have considerable room to collect more revenue based on their tax potential. And in this context, the digitalization of tax administration in Uganda has the potential to positively shape government's move to improve efficiency, transparency, and equitability of the tax system.
Besides the digital strategy launch, the Finance Minister, Matia Kasaija, commissioned a Tier 3 URA data center that is intended to champion the organization's digital transformation journey to create a simplified tax experience near every taxpayer. Dennis Igoa for the Business Roundup.
Airtel Uganda, in partnership with American Tower Company, have launched a digital community center that seeks to help promote digital literacy in Hoima Oil City. Check this out in our corporate news.
The facility at Hoima Public Library features 20 computers connected to the internet thanks to the partnership between American Tower Company and Airtel Uganda. The initiative aims to provide increased access to essential learning platforms. Dorothy Kabagambe Semanda, the CEO of American Tower Company, emphasized the significance of this venture.
It is dedicated and it is free of charge. So please come in droves, come in numbers. Bring your children. It doesn't matter if your mother is 60, 70 or 80. Let them come and study free of charge because we must change Uganda. Uganda, you need to agree with me. Do we need to change Uganda? We need to change Uganda. We can only change Uganda by getting the education to the youth and to enable the people that need to work to do the work that they need to do.
Rajesh Agrawal, the Chief Technical Officer of Airtel Uganda, elaborated on how the collaboration empowers the community by leveraging connectivity for social development, financial literacy, and career development.
But this is not the end of it. We are going to provide, together with the American Tower Company, the skills which can be developed for the children, for the students here who want to learn the computers, in providing the teacher and continuing with the program of internet and the digital learning.
Local leadership in Hoima district urged the youth to make full use of the Center for Research and Educational Purposes, stressing that not only through active engagement can the Digital Community Center achieve its intended objectives.
As government and security, we pledge to preserve this hub to make sure that it's our important resource and we'll guard it jealously.
The ATC and the Airtel, they've given us an offer. They're going to be training different people in IT skills and they'll be giving certificates. So we can use those certificates to start up some simple businesses.
Access to the internet is globally credited for enabling individuals in developing countries to tap into the modern economy and access information around the globe, opening up a world of possibilities.
And from across our borders, the global crude oil prices were already on the rise in the recent weeks. With the war in Gaza, analysts predict a sharp rise in the coming weeks. We have more from CGTN.
As far as the oil market is concerned, what we saw was the knee-jerk reaction to a potential supply disruption. And I should point out that there has been no oil supply disruption as yet. But the oil market is always fearing that the hostilities in the Middle East will ultimately draw in Iran, and that could cause a supply disruption through the Strait of Hormuz, where nearly 20% of the world's oil supply transits. Over the last few days, the oil market has actually given up all those gains as it has come to the conclusion that the probability that the Strait of Hormuz is shut is quite low. However, what we might see is the United States take a more rigorous approach to enforcing sanctions on Iranian crude oil exports.
India, we have a lot of Ugandans who go there for studies and also medical, and then we get a lot of pharmaceuticals from India. So we expect this route to be profitable for the airline in the oncoming flights. What we normally do for long haul, because all of us are qualified to fly the Airbus flies long, we just do what they call route analysis and risk assessments for the new destinations. India, there's nothing really different from flying to Dubai or flying to London or you just go through your paperwork. And the only thing which we have applied for is the overflight over water, which takes a 5-stage process, and that is in process.
Coffee cupping is a way to test, evaluate, and compare the flavor, quality, and potential of a given coffee. In Uganda, the Coffee Authority does this regularly to maintain consistency and quality control and for educating and training. The cupping process features tonight in our Sounds of Business. We wrap up BRU tonight with some words of wisdom. The first step to success is goal setting for yourself or your organization. This will give you a sense of direction and purpose. We are glad that you have been with us all through the show, and I'm hoping we have lived to your expectations. I've been your host, Dennis Igoa, and let's catch up same time, same place. From the team and I, it's good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Come and shine in Blascone Paint and win the Twake edition. Buy Blascone Paint worth 100,000 shillings. Get a scratch card and SMS the code to 7197. Not only will you win instant airtime, but you could take home 1 million shillings daily. A share of